Hey, I'm Aja A, and welcome to Sunshine Haze. Don't forget to check out all the links that I have listed down in the description box, and if you like the video, please give me a little thumbs up. If you have any questions after the video is over, feel free to drop them down below. I try to respond to everyone. And if you all know people interested in astrology, numerology, tarot, or whatever I'm talking about on this channel, go on and send them this link. And don't forget to hit subscribe. And of course, thanks for tuning in and rocking with me. May this info help y'all live your best lives. Peace. Hey y'all, I'm Aja A. Welcome to SunshinehazeCo. As you see tarot cards on your screen, you know it's time for a reading, but this time around it's not a new moon reading or your monthly reading. This is actually the reading for 2020. This video is for my fellow Cancer babies, Cancer Sun, Cancer Moon, and Cancer Rising. Before I even get started, if you feel like what I'm saying isn't resonating with you, keep in mind this is a general spread, a general reading. Go on and check out your moon and or rising sign, which I do have linked down below in the description box, okay? 5-card spread here, looking at the overall energy for us over this next year. With the tarot, looking at finances and career, love and relationships, and personal growth along this year. And as always, as a norm in my readings, a soul message, something extra for you to take away with you from this spread, okay? Excuse me. I was like catching a cold. I think I'm like nipping it in the bud, but I apologize in advance for the sporadic coughing. So let's go on and get started, Cancer. I've been doing these readings, and I did the reading for Taurus, and Taurus's reading was really popping, and I was like, damn, I wish this was our reading. And I just like whole time I've been like, please let us get some good cards. Like I'm so ready, and we got a really popping spread, y'all. So I'm gonna go on and get started. First card that we have coming up in the position of the overall energy is spiritual cleansing, and it comes with the numerical energy of 50, which is 5 amplified by 0. So you know, Cancer, we are in our eclipse axis right now. We just had a Capricorn eclipse, solar eclipse, and we're about to have an eclipse in our sign, a lunar eclipse, and then we have another round of them in the summertime before we close it out. So excuse me, the first half of 2022 is probably going to be very quiet in regards to what's happening in the physical for you. Things are going to be transpiring on a spiritual level for you. There's going to be a lot of spiritual work that needs to be done during this next, I was going to say this next month, nah, y'all, for at least the first half of the year, which is cool that our sign is in the middle of the year because we get to, it literally lines up like that. So we start 2020, you've got the spiritual cleansing energy, and you've got this energy of 5, and like I forget what sign I was talking. They had a 5 card, and I was saying on one side you've got this energy, on the other side you've got this energy. 5 is the number associated with change and transformation, and also associated with transmutation of dense and stagnant and old energies that no longer serve us, right? So spiritual cleansing coming in with the energy of 50 is already this amplified energy of change, and we're on our eclipse axis. And then 5, the word Hamza, the word Hamza translates to 5 in some cultures. So you really have this super intensified, amplified change, transformation, and definitely transmutation, because we are talking about spiritual cleansing here. What I think is important for you Cancers to understand with this, especially with us being on our eclipse axis, we really are, out of everybody in the zodiac, it's really us and the Capricorns that are really about to go through some major changes at the beginning of this decade within the first 1 or 2 years. And then if you are like me and you're my age, you're 27, 28, you're about to also hit your Saturn return. So these first couple of years for people with Saturn and Aquarius, and also people with Saturn and Capricorn, because we're getting ready to wrap up your Saturn return, people with Saturn and Capricorn, Saturn and Aquarius, also people with Cancer and Capricorn placements. The start of this year, the changes that we make in the spiritual are going to make way for what happens in the physical for us as we start to round out the end of the year. And then as we go into 2021, everything is going to be completely different. Like the life that we're living right now is going to be unrecognizable within like a year and a half time span. Very important for us, especially because we are Cancers. We do carry a lot of emotion. We are considered the emotional sign in the zodiac, the sensitive ones, but we are also the ones who tend to pick up and take on everybody else's emotions. With us going through so much change and getting ready to step into these completely different, like, it's not even, I talk about closing it, like turning the page from a chapter and going into a new chapter. For us and the people with those placements that I mentioned, we're ending the book. Like we're reading the last page right now, and we are literally about to crack open a new book. So there are things that you got to leave behind. You know, you've read this story, you have the lessons. Something that I do with my grandmother, for as long as I can remember, for as long as I started reading like chapter books. Excuse me, sorry, let me take a drink of water. So back when I started reading like adult books, I would say I was in probably like the 4th grade. My grandma always reads them first, and she grades her books. She rates them 1 through 10, and so she initials it, and then I I do the same thing, and I do that with every book that I read, and I especially do it with the books that I read with my grandmother. So with that being said, as you are closing up this book, it's time for you to reflect. It's time for you to sit here and go over, you know, if you got to turn back through a few pages and, you know, reread a few lines just so you can read, you know, take those lessons or pick back up on that energy. You're going to go on and do that as you close out 2019, as you come into 2020, and then you're going to release so that you can actually close that book and put that book on the shelf and crack out the new one. This is spiritual cleansing. So this is on a higher level. This is on a higher vibrational level, and I think this card is coming up for us here because we are on our eclipse axis. So we really are harnessing this energy to shift and transform the things that are happening and transpiring in our lives. So do the meditations, go and get the Reiki, go and do, you know, I went to Virginia Beach for my birthday, this past birthday, and I went to the Edgar Cayce Center and I got a chakra treatment. This lady, it's so funny, I was just talking about my Grammy, and the lady's name is Diana, but my Grammy's name is Diana. She did a chakra treatment. She used the pendulum to read the energy in my chakras, and then she did her energetic work, and I definitely felt the energy moving. So, you know, do what you need to do, whatever you're into. I'm into spiritual healing and holistic healing and things of that sort. But if you gotta write it out and that's how you spiritually cleanse, and you write it out. If you got to sing it out, then you sing it out. If you got to go to a therapist and talk it out, or to a counselor and talk it out, then you go to a counselor and you talk it out. If you got to hit the gym and work it out, then you work it out. I was about to start singing the song. Whatever you have to do, Cancer, it's important that you really start the new year doing so, because how you start this new year is how you're going to lay the foundation for the decade and for this year 2020 coming up. And you want to start the year with the intention of clearing out space and clearing out energy to bring in what is meant to be brought in for you, what you're supposed to be coming into alignment with, okay? And so with that 5 energy being amplified by 0, that's just saying that the changes that you make are really going to transform your life in ways that you could have never even imagined. And once you start working through those energies and you clear those energies out, you'll see on the other side of this that nothing was the same. Okay? All right, y'all. Let's go into the tarot. The first card that you got coming up in the spread, as far as these positions go, is the finances and career. And you've got Nanan Bouclou La Flambeau. This is the Petro 2, the 2 of Wands, the 2 of Fire. And I love, this is one of my favorite images in this deck. If you look at it's all these little heads, right? So I like to think of this as all of these ideas, all of your dreams, all of your goals. And then they've got these little fires in the middle of their foreheads. And they're positioned right where your third eye is. So, and then you've got this person on the bottom here with this wand who's shooting out the fire. So the way that I like to look at this card is, generally speaking, you have these ideas, you have these thoughts, these goals, these dreams, these desires. And coming into this Nanan Bouclou La Flambeau energy, you are seeing clearly what is needed and why it's needed and how it's needed and how you got to work it out in order for you to make good and actually physically manifest these things. You have that third eye energy, that intuition, that knowing behind it, right? And therefore, in the physical, these little heads, I consider them all of your ideas, right? And in the physical, you've got the wand, and you're shooting out the fire that you're pulling from the third eye. So you're shooting out these intentions that you're manifesting into the physical. And this fire is action, this fire is doing. So this is attached to your finances and your career. So Cancer, especially with this energy of change coming in, and I know, listen, I got a few Cancer friends, and I am a Cancer Sun, Cancer Moon, and Cancer Venus myself. So I know these past few years, and when I say few, I mean like 3, 4, 5. You know what I'm saying? Have been rough. Whether it's been your career, whether it's been school, whether it's been your relationship, whether it's been your family, like we've been going through the motions, you know, and right now we're in a space to where we're feeling the energy change and we're seeing these changes shift in the physical for ourselves, right? Coming in with our eclipse axis and this energy that we can harness to actually physically manifest these things that we have desired for ourselves, and getting rid of this energy that we need to clear out with the spiritual cleansing. You're going into this position to where the work that you do, what you do for a living, you're going to be doing that a lot more frequently during this year. You're going to start getting back into it during the beginning of the year when you're doing the spiritual cleansing work, right? And then as the year starts to close out, it's going to be taken off for you. You're going to be, you know, either I'm a writer, and I've been saying like I need to get back into working on my scripts. I've got like 4 or 5 scripts that need to be, well, I've got like 3 that need to be finished, and I've got 2 that are ready to film. You know what I'm saying? I'm a singer. I'm a vocalist. I have a project that's been in the work for, when I say 3, 4, 5 years, and there are just a couple songs that I need to finish. Using myself as an example, coming up into this career in finance spread. And this is not to say I want to be like a singer, but I definitely do want to write scripts for films and for TV shows. I'm going to gain this clarity on what I need to do to actually get myself into those positions. So I'm going to be coming into spaces at the beginning of the year saying, okay, this is the work that needs to be done. And by the end of the year, shoot, I might have a grant for a film. You know what I'm saying? Let's be intentional. By the end of the year, I will have grants, multiple, for films, multiple. So with that being said, Cancer, whatever it is that you have dreamt up, that you have been wanting to do, the type of work that you've been wanting to get into, during 2020, it's going to become clear to you as you clear out this space with this spiritual cleansing energy, how to get to that point. And with this card being here and also doubling as the financial position, this is a card of action, and this is a card of positive action and direction, right? This is the 2 of Wands. You're going to be getting to the bread, doing what you love to do. And when I say getting to the bread, it's going to be successful. When you put good energy in, that's when shit comes out and turns out to be abundant and prosperous, and tends to grow exponentially. So this eclipse is much needed at this time in our lives. And if you are like me and you're about to have your Saturn return too, like 2020 is literally, it's like the turning point. This is going to be the turning point for us. Moving on into the next card, into the next position, we've got the World Egg in the position of love and relationships. And so I'm going to read this for the singles, and I'm going to read this for the people who are in relationships or partnerships. The World Egg is the Fool in traditional tarot. In this deck, the World Egg is harnessing this energy of moving into a new space and moving with positive intention and moving into a positive space by way of learning from your experiences and growing from your experiences. So for my single Cancers, you've probably been single for a while. Not that you want to be single, not that you were like, I need to be single, but you've probably been single for a while, and it's probably because you have not completely all the way worked through what you've gone through or what you've dealt with in previous situations. And you may be in a space to where you're like, I'm over it, I don't even think about that shit anymore. But you may subconsciously still have habits, or you may still have these fears or these notions that are attached to love and relationships that are actually keeping you from opening up your heart and your little heart chakra to welcoming somebody in, right? With this card popping up here, I do pick up on this energy that 2020, this is a 0 card, okay? We're gonna keep it real. We're gonna keep it real. It's also a card of, it's also an infinite card. It's not infinity, but it's a card of infinite cycles. So, or the number of infinite cycles. 2020 might still be kind of quiet for you single Cancers, and not in the sense that there's gonna be no action at all, but this is not, I don't pick up on this being the year in which you establish any super foundational relationships. You might go through the motions here and there with a person or two because we are Cancers. And I've noticed male Cancers are a little bit better at having multiple partners or multiple dating partners. But as far as what female Cancers go, I haven't really seen that or experienced that. But it might still be kind of quiet, and not because, you know, you're boring, not because you don't want love or you're not welcoming it, but it's just because you've got to really be in a space to where you understand what your heart wants, needs, and desires, and you have to be in a space to where you are strong and firm in that. I can speak from experience and having gone through situations and saying, I'm not going to deal with this, and then getting into another situation and dealing with the same shit and finding myself sitting there like, well, here I am again, and I said I wasn't going to do this shit, and this is really tiring, this is trying, and so why are we here again? So I think this World Egg card is popping up here to say, okay, Cancer, you may know or you may have figured it out, but now is the time in which you have to stand firm in your foundations, especially because you're laying the foundation for the year and you're laying the foundation for the decade. If you want love to come in, you want it to be the love that you desire to come in. And so you got to figure out what that is in its entirety, for sure. Like, you got to know what that is. You got to feel what that is before you're open to receiving it. And you've also got to know that too, so you can start to harness that own energy yourself. I like to say, you know, be the type of person that you'd want to be with. And you know, I'm single and I've been single for a minute, and I do say that, like, I am always actively working on myself. I feel like I'm almost at a point to where I would be open to a relationship. Like, at this point in life, I'm like, I don't have my shit all the way together. I still got some of these habits. I know, like, I'm a lot to deal with. I'm not ready for all that right now, but I do feel that in time, once I get to a point to where I feel like, okay, this is what I want, this is what I need, this is who I am, this is what I want to put out, then I would be open to, you know, really, really, truly, honestly dating seriously. You know what I'm saying? So for you single Cancers, this next year is the time for you to lay the foundation for the type of love that you want and become that type of person so you can attract what you put out, okay? Now, going into my Cancers in relationships, you're coming into some sort of renewed, refreshed, rejuvenated energy in your relationship. And this is also a pregnancy card. So very briefly, some of you Cancers, whether you're male or female, there's a high possibility that you might be getting pregnant or getting your partner pregnant during this year, or kids may be coming up. Also could be adopting or could be thinking about adoption, just thinking about expanding your family. But this is a pregnancy card. It's literally an egg. And the full is the start, so it's the beginning, the egg. But also, just in a general sense, people in relationships, you are in a space to where you are renewing some sort of energy. So if you're a little bit older, if you've been married for a while or been in a relationship for a while, you might be getting engaged. You might be renewing your vows. You might be, in a sense, kind of reigniting the spark in your relationship. And Cancer, for those of you in relationships, like I mentioned earlier, you've probably been in your relationship for a minute. And so relationships, they go through their motions, they go through their highs and their lows, and they go through their, you know, their very passionate times, and they're very, like, times where there's not that much of that. I feel like with this World Egg energy popping up here for you people, for you Cancers in relationships, there's going to be some sort of shift in the energy. And for some of you, that could be a kid. And then for others of you, that could just be, you know, a conversation or some sort of heart-to-heart something, or just some sort of situation that brings you closer and brings you to a point to where you want to either get to know your partner a little bit better, or where you want to, you know, deepen the love, or where you want to, you know, try new things or bring a refreshed, rejuvenated energy into the relationship to keep it going, to keep it positive, and to keep it growing. But so if you're in a relationship, I don't see bad things happening here. If you're not in a relationship, I do see a development of figuring out the type of relationships and love that you want to call to yourself. Now, I also just briefly came in, for those of you that are in spaces to where you've been thinking about coming out of your relationships, being Cancers, if you have been, you've been doing that for a while too. This World Aid card, if that message is for you, this World Aid card is telling you, okay, this is actually, with this being the Fool in traditional tarot, this is saying, you know what, this might be time for you to take that leap of faith and actually walk away from your relationship and plant the seeds of something new. And that could be planting the seeds of going into what I was talking about for the single Cancers, of figuring out what it is that you want and need and desire in love, because maybe the situation that you were in, you didn't necessarily get all of those things, or maybe it wasn't fulfilling, or it stopped being fulfilling, you know, whatever the situation may be. So there's actually a few messages there with that card. Again, remember, this is a general reading, so everything may not resonate with you, but if you were still here this far into the spread, I feel like the reading's resonating with you, and thanks for sticking around. All right, y'all. Let's go into the next tarot card, and this is in the position of personal growth for the year of 2020 for us, Cancer. It's funny, I just looked at the timestamp and it was 2022. And this is actually my favorite ace card in this deck. We've got Tabula Rasa, and this is the Rata ace. This is the Ace of Swords, the Ace of Air. In this deck, this is the card that resonates with the energy of sitting quietly and observing before making your moves. And you know how I said 2020, that at least the first half, there's going to be work that's being done, and it's going to be kind of quiet for us in the physical. This Tabula Rasa card further confirms that, to just say, you know, as all of this stuff is transpiring, Cancer, you do have to sit and actively watch and learn and take in these energies and grow and start to plant the seeds in your mind as far as manifestation is concerned, to be on that other side of the spiritual cleansing energy once you got all that energy worked out, you know. And so this Tabula Rasa card also goes hand in hand. And although this is in the position of your finances and your career, this goes hand in hand, as far generally speaking, with the non beaucoup la flambeau card, because as you're taking the time to stop and observe and think, you have that time to come in and ignite that spark and bring in that third eye energy into your dreams and your desires and your goals. And as you do that, and these kind of bubble and boil and start to brew, you'll be able to start to manifest that. As far as your thoughts are concerned, our thoughts are very powerful. And so as you're in this waiting period, I don't want to call 2020 a waiting period, but as I said, it's the turning point for us. And so as you hit the turning point, you slow, and sometimes you come to a stop before you turn, but you do slow down before you actually, start going the other way, or hit the next direction or whatever, So this Tabula Rasa card is the personal growth card, and this also comes in, and I hate to say it because this has been coming up for me, this energy of patience. So Cancer, understand that things are coming, things are changing. There is just work that needs to be done on a higher level in order for that to happen in the physical, and understand that once that work is done with that spiritual cleansing card, this is fire, this is air, and this is a major arcana card. So once you get your work done, listen, all that speed and all that everything rolling in as quickly as possible, it'll start to happen. Remember, I think I said a little bit earlier, like once 2021 comes around, especially within like a year and a half time, nothing was the same. Things are going to be completely different for you, Cancer, especially because we're on our Cancer eclipse axis, and then we're going into the next axis, which is fire and air. So you're harnessing these energies throughout 2020, and then on the other side of the spiritual cleansing energy, you're going to be on that eclipse axis, right? So just know that everything transpiring, especially as the year begins to play out, it's work that has to be done, and it's being done at the surface and underneath the surface in order for you to, like I said, be aligned with what you're supposed to be aligned with. But Cancer, I don't think y'all understand that when I say that, and I don't know what this could mean for everybody or anybody, but I get this really good vibe, this really good energy, this really anticipatory energy of whatever that is. So whatever you have been quietly dreaming up, quietly thinking about, quietly hoping for and longing for, just understand that it's going to play out for you. And I think it's going to play out for you in a way that you did not expect, but it's going to be way better than what you thought of, okay? Yeah, our reading is lit, y'all. Next card that I have coming up in the spread is in the position of, or the last card that I have in the spread for us is in the position of the soul message. And we've got indigo here. and just everything is all tying together, and also is same color as the energy card. This is the third eye chakra color, and this is 40, and the message with this card is improve your vision. So I've been talking about with the Nanambuku La Flambeau card, right? Our dreams and our desires and our manifestations. And with the Dambala Wedo card, I've been talking about sitting and observing and seeing, right? You've got to improve your vision here. And with spiritual cleansing, there is that energy of a little bit of haziness lingering over that needs to be cleared out. So the message for us here, Cancer, is like this year of 2020, and you don't have to stick to the timelines that I was saying. That's just a rough estimate of the way that things will play out over the next year for us. But over this next year, it's very important for us to work with this energy of what I have tatted on me, Abracadabra Abraxas, and that is, it translates loosely to I create as I speak, I create as I speak, I think as I create, along those lines. Basically manifesting, speaking things into existing and speaking things into existence and willing things into existence. So we've got to really resonate with this Nanambuku La Flambeau energy, not only for our career and finances, but on a general level. And we've got to make sure that our vision is clear and that we're taking the time to observe and see the way that things are going to play out, and plan them effectively, and go with our intuition and know that our intuition is leading us into the actions and moves that need to be made, and understand that we are planting the seeds for the way that we want to see things turn out. These cards are in the positions of their respective energies, however, but just generally speaking, they all do go together as well, okay? Also, with that being said, this indigo card carries this energy of 40, which is 4 amplified by 0. 4 is the number of foundation, of stability, of organization, right? Of planning for your future, and actually laying the foundation for your future, and it's amplified by 0 here. So as we come into this Nanambuku La Flambeau energy of really harnessing the energy to really manifest our destiny and making it very successful and abundant, and bringing us into this space of happiness and contentment and peacefulness by way of that, as we follow and lead our intuition into those energies, we'll see all of these things that are supposed to be playing out for us in this next year and over the next decade start to play out. With this being a third eye chakra card, I would say definitely, especially going into the new year, and as much as you can over the next year, do third eye chakra work. Work with some third eye chakra stones. My favorite is labradorite, if y'all can't tell. Labradorite there. Actually, I don't have another piece down here, but I have a labradorite heart. I've got labradorite stones. I've got a labradorite slab. Fluorite. Oops. Where was some fluorite? That's a third eye chakra stone. You could use angel aura quartz for your third eye. Actually, all of these quartzes that I have here, I consider them crown chakra stones, but secondary third eye chakra, angel aura quartz, golden rutilated quartz, rainbow or tourmalated rainbow quartz. What else? Amethyst. People love amethyst. Amethyst is really easy to find. Amethyst is a third eye chakra stone. Indigo aura quartz. What else do I use for my third eye chakra? Y'all, I can't think of it, but do some research. Get you some third eye chakra stones, wear them around, work with them, do some third eye chakra meditations. Really get in tune with your intuition. If you have decks or if you read tarot or oracles, try to do that a lot more. Really try to connect with spirit as much as possible, however you do so, whatever that means to you, Cancer. But it's important for you to improve your vision. It's important for you to really get that third eye chakra popping, and really tap into this energy of, and harness that high priestess energy that comes along, that mother of cups, that queen of cups energy that comes along with the Cancer sign, water signs, but really with Cancer. Really harness that energy into knowing what your future entails, and into knowing how you're going to get to those spaces, because you know, by way of the work that you do, as I said earlier, you can manifest your own destiny, Cancer, and that is what 2020 is going to be for us. It's a master number year, and it's 22, which is the master builder. So the work that we're doing this year is, like I said earlier, going to be laying the foundation for what's to come in the decade, and what's to come in this next decade is really popping as far as the things that we want to do with our lives plays out, okay? that is our spread, and I loved it. If you have any questions or comments, or want to book your own, talk to me down below. Go to my Etsy shop, send me an email. I have that link down below. Check out the 22 universal year video. I was just talking about that. A really poppin' energy. If you're interested in that, I would definitely watch it, because 2020 is about to be lit, y'all. What else? I have a pick a card decade messages. So I've got a pick a card spread up for you guys as far as the next 10 years goes. You guys can check that out as well. And also, I will be putting up a video in the next week or so in celebration of making it to 1,000 subscribers. Thank y'all for rocking with me that tough. Hope y'all continue to rock with me along the way. And yeah, I think that's it for my shameless plugs. Thank you guys for watching. Happy New Year. Peace, positivity, abundance, blessings, prosperity, all that good shit for this next year and this next decade coming up. I will catch y'all next time. Peace.